Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, tonight I got to talk about trouble in Europe. Not so much in U.S., although it affects U.S., but there's major trouble in Europe. So what does this mean exactly for world economy, for
so
European economy, and for Bitcoin?
US,
also, I got to talk about some strong headwinds that Bitcoin is facing.
World economy,
so
for
Bitcoin is hanging on around $20,000. So, are these headwinds going to push Bitcoin lower, or will Bitcoin hang on find its way up? So let's talk about these things. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell, get notified of. So let's talk about these things. Sorry, echo. Man, that was a good intro, too. That was a good intro. Anyways, let me start over. So tonight, of course, I want to talk about Bitcoin. Trouble in Europe, major trouble, that could be coming. So how will it affect Bitcoin? And what about these strong headwinds that Bitcoin is facing? Will it push Bitcoin lower, or will Bitcoin rise up once again? All right, let's do this. I'll have to cut out the beginning echo. So smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Get notified all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com. And make sure you follow the brand new Clips channel. All right, welcome. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there, doing well. Bitcoin hovering a little bit under 20,000, kind of hovering there. You can see it's straggling this trend line right now. But a lot of things are happening. A lot of headwinds, and I've been talking about it. It doesn't seem like we're out. We're out of the woodwork, I guess, so to speak. So you look at today, U.S. markets wasn't so bad, although NASDAQ went down over 2%, and today, or right now, looking like tomorrow, maybe more red. But that's because Wall Street is antsy about or worried about what's going to happen come Wednesday, because we got some large inflation numbers coming up. Even the White House, I don't know why White House needs to have a press conference before the press conference. Or no, actually, I take it back. There's no press conference this Wednesday. But why the White House always needs to kind of like pre-warn, right? So White House came out today and said, well, expect inflation numbers to be elevated. We kind of knew that already, but that's not something that we want to hear, nor is it something that the White House should be commenting on. This is a job for the Fed. This is what the Fed should be worried about. This is what they should be talking about, not the White House. Right? But every single time now, every time before we have CPI numbers come out, the White House comes out and says, yeah, be prepared. It's going to get bad, really bad. That's not what we really want to hear, right? But today, tomorrow, before Wednesday's big CPI data reveal, we'll probably go see more volatility, right? So that's number one in the U.S. So obviously a lot of fear over that. Number two is the euro. The euro drops to a 20-year low, approaches parity with the U.S. dollar. So now it's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1. That's good and bad. Mostly bad, because the reason why it's dropping is because there are so many people that are fearful about what's going to happen in Europe and in a lot of individual countries that suffer very high inflation. For example, Boris Johnson, right, just resigned. Well, people didn't like how he was handling UK, and UK's inflation is even higher than the US, in the 9% range, right? ECB's projected inflation rate is right around 9%, right? So obviously inflation is affecting Europe altogether. The euro dropping is not good, and there's this. So the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which supplies Europe's 40% gas supply. Okay, 40% of Europe's gas supply comes from this one pipeline that's coming from Russia. And it has been shut down for repairs. And people are wondering whether or not it will ever reopen. This could be the final act from the Kremlin, from Putin, to basically cripple the West. I mean, think about it. If they do not reopen, sure, economically it's going to hurt Russia, but 40% is a big number to be cut off immediately. So right now, Europe's kind of panicking, especially Germany. Germany, France, other major countries that get a lot of natural gas, they are trying to prepare. This is going to be done supposedly in 10 days. Now, there is a chance that this reopens and they get more gas than ever, and this is a non-issue, right? But a lot of people are theorizing this could be the start of something else. If they don't reopen, it's going to be catastrophic near term for Germany and several other countries in Europe, right? Part of the reason why the euro is dropping right now, and it's at parity, and who knows if it's going to continue further down, right? I guess only the good thing about the euro being down is it helps with trade, right? So maybe China would be more willing to buy goods from Europe than the U.S., although they don't buy very much anyways. But I mean, in that example, it would help Europe with euros being down. But for everything else, just not a good situation, right? So yeah, that's not good overall. See, right now there's a lot of headwinds, right? Bitcoin is caught in the middle of this. U.S. market's still up and down. Bitcoin has been coming up from its 17,000, but still kind of straggling right now, kind of stagnant because there's just so much fear right now. Just so much fear, still so much uncertainty, right? And we just got to wait it out. We got to wait it out because Bitcoin will come through. It's just right now, there's just so much. It's like Bitcoin's like facing Category 5, typhoon, and right behind it is a Category 5 hurricane, and right behind it is like a Type 5 tornado, right? It's just like one after another, and that is where we are right now. All right, now, besides these bad things going on, what about in the crypto world? Good things? Well, mostly bad still. So it turns out CryptosRUs, no surprise, their office is completely abandoned. Creditors are trying to find out where the founders are, where the office is now, who they could talk to, and it seems like they have disappeared, gone, nowhere to be found, right? So any hope of trying to collect from CryptosRUs is pretty much out the door. Right now, if they find the founders, most likely they will be in jail because they are trying to run away right now. And I'm pretty sure they're running away because not only did they make dumb moves, they probably made some illegal moves, and it's probably going to come to light someday. But Zhu Su and Kyle Davis, they are currently unknown, and no one knows. They'll probably never find them. I don't know. At this point, they had such a head start, who knows? So that's not good overall. Now, Voyager did release an update today, kind of clarifying some of the, I guess, good news and bad news. They're clarifying that if you have USD in Voyager, you'll get that back. So they're basically saying they have not touched any USD, right? So USD, basically all the USD is held in a special bank account called For Benefit of Customers, and basically they will restore access to that in the near future after reconciliation and fraud prevention process. I don't know that should not remove any USD, so that's positive. Now they've been facing a lot of FDIC FUD, and FDIC is actually looking at some of their marketing tactics in terms of labeling their accounts FDIC insured. Yes, it is FDIC insured, but $250,000 per customer only in the case of the bank going under, not Voyager going under. Okay, so they kind of try to explain this, but really it just, they were trying to fool people by saying that. All right, now as for everyone else, in terms of crypto, are you going to get anything back? It's the same as before. They said a portion of your original crypto, a portion from CryptosRUs, which is going to be zero. Basically, they hightailed out of here. And then common shares in a new reorganized company, which will probably be zero, okay? There's no one that's going to want the shares of this new company. And shares of existing Voyager tokens, which still has a value right now, but it'll probably go to zero too. So it's going to be like 0, 0, 0, and then a little bit of your crypto, whatever percentage that is, right? So not looking good right now for Voyager. And I still question why they don't try to collect the $377 million from Alameda Research / FTX. They still don't list that. They pretend like it's not there. $377 million is a lot of money, in addition to their $1.3 billion of crypto assets on the platform and $650 million. Oh, no, that's it. $650 million is what belongs to CryptosRUs. What they loaned to CryptosRUs. So $1.3 billion in crypto assets is a lot, but $375 million could be collected, and they're still not talking about it. So not good. As for Celsius, this is positive. So they reclaimed $172 million collateral from Aave and Compound. So they've been slowly paying back their debt across all the DeFi platforms. So it does seem like they're making headways. Although recently they transferred $550 million to FTX, so many people are fearful that they just may dump that on FTX. Doesn't seem like it has happened yet, but they just reclaimed another $172 million. And people are studying their wallet, and basically there's still about $680 million in loans. So they're far from out of the woodwork, but yeah, they still owe $140 million to Aave and Compound, and overall they still have $680 million loans. So that's still quite a lot, but they are somehow coming out with money to kind of repay back little bit by little bit by little bit. Not sure where that's coming from, but it's kind of positive for Celsius. Whether or not they make it, I don't know. It's undetermined right now. Now, as for Vauld also has an update. Not a good one, although they promise they're going to make everyone whole. Vauld basically disclosed that they are $70 million down. They have $330 million of assets held, but liability is about $400 million. And basically, they claim that through accounting and through the fluctuation of crypto, that's why there's a $70 million discrepancy, which of course is not good. So they are trying to work out a deal with Nexo. Nexo says they will buy Vauld. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they say that even without it, they will try to make customers whole. They will try to raise more venture capital, exploring alternative to a complete acquisition, waiting for someone's deployed capital to be returned, converting debt to equity, issuing its own token, which I don't think is a good idea, and developing a payment plan tied to future revenue. So there's a lot of things that's happening right now, and they did say that they have a massive amount of loans that they can't collect for 3 to 11 months. So if they do collect that, it'll help them quite a lot. So unfortunately, Vauld is caught up in some of these things. It doesn't seem like they made any kind of risky they didn't make any risky loans to CryptosCapital or anything, but they still kind of screwed up. So unfortunately, it's not looking good for Vauld, but it does seem like they want to do their best to make customers whole, and I hope that they can do so, right? So that's the latest with Vauld. So that's all the bad stuff that's all going on in the crypto world, right? You guys know most of that. Are there any good stuff that's happening in the crypto world? Well, of course there is, right? We still have adoption growing. So the 5th largest Swiss bank to enable Bitcoin trading and custodian service to 2 million customers, right? You think about it, especially in Europe right now. Actually, if you just think about around the world, this morning I covered about how 4 major banks in China stopped withdrawals, like these lending companies, because of bank run situation. They don't have enough money, right? So they had to stop withdrawals, right? There was riots all over the place, and they had to be held back, and it ended physically, right? Shows you the need why people need to adopt Bitcoin. So that won't happen, right? And right now in Europe, you think about it, the euro is devaluing very, very quickly. Lost 20 or 30% within the last 6 months. Just people holding on to euros. Not only are you faced with inflation, it's debasing and devaluing itself at even a quicker rate. So it's double negative. Again, you want to put it into something that won't do that, right? Something that will hedge against inflation and improperness of federal banks and governments, right? Again, a use case for Bitcoin. So obviously, right now, you do see still a lot of banks and financial institutions and people adopting Bitcoin because of those reasons. Bitcoin is proving itself, right? So it's very, very important. Very important to recognize those things. We're seeing firsthand how people are getting screwed, let's say, right? Left and right. And this show is more important, more than ever. We need something that's better, something decentralized, something that the people control and hold and can't be taken away or stopped or confiscated or seized, right? All those things. So, good. Good for Bitcoin. Right now, obviously, in a consolidation range, right? A lot of macro catalyst emerges, obviously, based on the things I've been talking about, right? There are some people that say, well, Bitcoin is ready to go up. Some people say Bitcoin is not ready to go up because of all the headwinds it's facing. Right now, we're kind of stuck in the middle, waiting for something to happen. Bitcoin is holding as strong as it can, despite all these things. But there's just so many macro stuff happening right now. It's hard to push past through all of it. But just like all the previous times before, even though Bitcoin didn't face some of these headwinds, right? Bitcoin faced through some bad times before. Bitcoin always finds a way. And that's why you don't want to give up. All right, so that's for Bitcoin, some of the good news. And in terms of altcoin news, some good stuff. Some good stuff. For example, surprising move. One of the Cardano's guys, one of the top guys for Cardano, joins as CTO for Algorand. This is a big, stunning move. So Woods served as the director of Cardano architecture at Input Output Global. And you know what? Before that, he was an architect at Consensus and several other places. But now, John Woods is part of Algorand. So big pickup indeed. What else? Algorand has other stuff going on. They have partnership with Visa, which of course is pretty big because Visa is big, but you know, we're trying to overthrow Visa one day. But yeah, they have that going on too, announced. And what else is, this is huge, they have a FIFA partnership, so they're going to be official partner. So when the World Cup starts, they're going to be able to advertise all over, right? So that's also pretty big. So some good stuff for Algorand. And speaking of Cardano, even though it has not been doing well recently, you know what? The sharks are buying. In fact, sharks have been buying and buying and buying, and whales have been buying a ton of Cardano. They've been stacking ADA left and right, and that's very encouraging. Of course, that's what you want to see, right? So good news for Cardano. And lastly, what's good for Polygon is this: Terra projects that has been in limbo, wondering what to do, and they know for sure they don't want to continue on with Terra 2.0, right? They are all moving to Polygon. So that is fantastic. If you look at this video, over 48 projects, some of the biggest Terra projects, have now all moved to Polygon. So this is a huge move for Polygon. They have a fund to attract developers over, especially from Terra, and it's working. So that's all. That's fantastic for these dApp makers that got caught in the middle of something that they can't overcome, right? And now they have a new home. Right? And this is great for Polygon as they grow bigger. Many people have asked me if Ethereum 2.0 is going to kill something like Polygon. And my answer is no, because their ecosystem is just absolutely huge. Huge. Right? So there you go. So there is good news. Projects are still executing, right? Even though there's many projects, many altcoins, they will probably die. But there are so many that continue to build. And that's what you want to see. You build and build and build, especially when things are down and low. Not many people are paying attention, but when things come back up, that's when these projects shine. And I do believe Polygon is definitely one project that's going to shine in the future. All right. That is pretty much it. You know what? Overall market cap, around 887, so down a little bit today. Bitcoin dominance did come down, surprisingly, even though with Bitcoin is a little bit dipped today. Still trying to hold at 20,000, so we will see what happens tomorrow and later this week. Now, before I get to Q&A, I do have a new sponsor, and this is one that's very, very important because of everything that's going on right now, okay? Because of all these bank runs and withdrawals, right? You gotta safeguard your own crypto. So today's sponsor is actually Opera. It's a new browser. Actually, it's not a new browser. It's an old browser with a lot of new features. And Opera has added so many things I haven't kept up with it, but it's quite amazing what they're providing absolutely free. First of all, they're providing an ad-free browser experience. Everything is secure. There's nothing, no tracking, nothing going on, right? So you don't have to even install an ad blocker because by default, it blocks everything. So that's good. You can install messengers, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, Discord, all the major messengers integrated directly into Opera so you don't have to have multiple apps, right? Those are nice things to have. But also, you get a free VPN, right? I didn't even know that. You get a free VPN to use, so of course you enhance your privacy so you don't have anyone, checking in and checking your IP. You get a free VPN, you don't have to pay a dime for it. So those are some fantastic things already. But not only that, why it's important more than ever now is because they also integrated a non-custodial wallet directly into their browser, right? So with this wallet, you get to control your own keys. Your private phrase, your recovery phrase, never leaves your wallet, never leaves your desktop, never leaves the app. It is there. You could recover anytime you want, right? So it's one of those wallets that's built directly into the browser. And you could check your balance. You can get crypto news. There's a lot of things in here, right? You could get it on your mobile apps. So it's all integrated. It's all integrated. So very, very awesome. And plus, they have partnered up with some of the biggest guys like Unstoppable Domains. So you could utilize their wallet addresses, right? They have integrated Solana, Polygon, Nervo, Celos, Ronin, right, into their wallet too, right? So it natively supports all of these chains, including, of course, Ethereum and Bitcoin. So all the major ones out there, right? So basically, Opera is making it so that you never have to leave their browser, and it's safe and secure, and you get to safeguard your own crypto all in one, right? So I think it's a fantastic project. So if you want to check them out, use my URL below. All right, that is pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Keep stacking through 2025, then retire. That seems like a right goal. Someone asked me if I like Panda Express, and then it got muted. I don't actually think that's racist. I don't think that's racist or anything. I actually do like Panda Express, so no need to block that out, Shannon. All right. Are we going to 100K by 2024? It's certainly possible. Yes, I certainly do think so. Ronnie, I saw that super chat. Thank you. Jimmy has another one up on top. Do you like comics? I actually don't like comic books. I had never gotten to comic books growing up. I only like Marvel and DC movies because I think they're really cool. And I like hearing about some of their comic origins, right? But I'm not really into comic books at all. Fabrizio Martini, 70 million is not bad. That's referring to Vauld. Yeah, it's not bad compared to others, but yeah. Still, hopefully they can make everyone whole. Thor sucked. It was a constant joke for 2 hours. The only feeling from the film was Bale's performance. Why is Marvel dropping balls in Spider-Man? I don't know. The last Spider-Man was okay, too. I didn't think it was that great. It was good to see the old Spider-Mans, but yeah, I don't know if it sucked that much. I actually enjoyed it. It was a constant joke, but if you remember Thor 1 and Thor 2, you'll realize how bad they were, right? So I prefer the lighter-hearted Thor, making him like a big jock, even though the film wasn't very serious, but they did tie it back to Christian Bale character and Jane's character, and I think they added some emotion to it. Thank you. I'm not going to repeat your name, but I appreciate that big super chat. How much do you think ADA will be at the end of the year? $1 million. No, I'm just kidding. You know, if the market comes back, you know, comes back strong, maybe I think Bitcoin realistically come back to maybe like 40,000, 50,000 by the end of the year. If we could get past through all these headwinds and things stabilize and we get some good rallies, we could have some really fantastic movement. You know, Bitcoin gets back to 40 or 50K. You know, Cardano could certainly be right back to $150, $2 range. I could see that happening. But obviously, if Bitcoin doesn't move at all and stays here for the remainder of the year, then ADA is probably not going to go anywhere and remain here too. Let's see. What are the odds Binance overtakes Coinbase in the American market in a few years? Probably not going to happen in a few years, but can it happen eventually? Yeah. Binance.us, if you guys haven't been paying attention, keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they actually added staking despite all this right now, right? Despite all the SEC scrutiny and all these lending companies having problems, they added staking. And they've been adding more and more tokens to their platform, and they offered zero-fee Bitcoin trading, which no one offers. They are taking advantage right now. They're stealing a ton of customers away from Coinbase. The only thing that they don't have is a really easy-to-use app. Unlike Coinbase, their app is so easy to use. Binance.us app, not so easy to use. But eventually, when they create a really, really simple app, then Coinbase better watch it out. Team Kyrie or Russ, AD for KD. I would trade AD for KD in a heartbeat. AD, he has glass for bones. Okay, so even though AD should be a top 5 player in the NBA, he's like more like top 100 because he can't play. As for Kyrie or Russ, I would still pick Kyrie over Russ, even though he's a head case. Russ, just, you can't trust him for anything, so, yeah. Is Star Alice a scam? Why do you say that? I mean, they released a whole bunch of NFTs. You know, they're supposed to release their game. I have not kept up with them. What makes you say that? Can't use Binance, the U.S. and Texas or New York. Yeah, some states are very hard. You know, they're New York with their bit license. I don't know what Texas calls their license, Texas license or something, and they make it really hard for a lot of crypto exchanges to operate. Unfortunately, can ETH hit 100K by 2025? No, it cannot. Bradford, you gotta do some math, man. For it to hit 100K, that means it has to go 100x. That means the market cap is what? $10 trillion? No, it's not going to happen. Why don't you post a step-by-step on how to set up our own keys, buying the products in the market provided you care about us? What do you mean set up your own keys? You buy the product and you plug it in, and it generates a new key for you. Plus, I have a video. I have a whole video about different wallets. I have guides on CryptosRUs that actually goes through step-by-step. See, this is why I tell you guys, check out CryptosRUs.com for guides. People kind of ignore that and somehow don't want to read. Go to it. There's guides there. I have videos about wallets, right? So, yeah, they're there. Let's see. 105 in Missouri. That's hot. That's hot. Jared, appreciate it. Portland's 100. Man, what is going on? Global warming is happening, I guess. ETH to the moon. Yes, eventually. When will Binance release non-custodial? I think they're probably working on that. I mean, Coinbase has it. So I could see Binance releasing their wallet. I thought they were working on one. I don't know what happened to it. But when Binance released their own wallet, I take that back. I'm stupid. Sorry. I take that back. Trust Wallet is bought by Binance. Okay, so Trust Wallet is a non-custodial wallet by Binance. So yeah, so that's go use Trust Wallet. It's one of the best ones out there. So they are owned by Binance. Is there a McDonald's I am George NFT in the works? I had one. It didn't sell very well, so but I had one before, I thought. Is there more NFTs coming? Yes, but waiting for market to come back a little bit. And I'm still working on my NFT site too. It's taking way longer than I expected. But yeah, once that site comes out, then if you have NFT, you can log in, see all the rewards, get redemptions, and all this cool stuff. What does it mean to be a security? What would be the implications? Basically, you have to go through all these rules set by the SEC. A lot of reporting rules. They want to see a lot of stuff. Basically, you almost become a company, right? You're not an open source project anymore. You're deemed like a company, and you got to submit all these things, and it becomes a big headache. For something like Ethereum, I think it'll be. I don't know how they could get through that. Maybe consensus will help them do that if that's the case. But someone like Ripple can easily do it. They have the manpower to do it. Although no one wants to do it, it's just wasted money and effort. But doesn't necessarily mean that they get killed. It just becomes a lot more cumbersome to run. Now, if they're just deemed to have a legal token offering, that is easy. There has been projects that have already been sued and they've been settled. So EOS, Tezos, Kin, they've all been sued before for having a legal token offering. They paid a fine and they're okay. So that could be also the case. Victoria's Secret is definitely a secret in San Antonio. Charles Barkley says some of the funniest things. If he wasn't around, inside the NBA would be like completely dead show. Sheeb or Doge for small bet? Both. I think Sheeb is building on a lot of stuff right now, which will help them in the future. But with Doge, every Elon tweet, especially during a bull market, will pump it up substantially. So I think both will pump. Can Mt. Gox recipients receive BTC or forced to receive their refund in USD? I think you could choose. I think you could choose which one you want. So you had to define it. Is there any risk with having a Nano X instead of S? People say Bluetooth is a risk. Yeah, people do say that because then it becomes, it's not a true cold wallet. True cold wallet means that it's cut off from everything, right? Even though you could turn off Bluetooth, but still, if you forget to leave it on, there's still a hot connection. So that's why some people like the S, right? And, the S is old because you can only install 3 wallets. But they do have this new one, the S Plus, which I still have not set up. I've been meaning to set up. This is basically the X without the Bluetooth, but you can install 100 different Plus wallets on here. This is their latest and greatest, and it's cheaper than the X. So you may want to look into the S Plus. Thoughts on the next Fed meeting, crash or run prediction, and will ADA hard fork drive up prices? I don't think the hard fork will drive up prices. The next Fed meeting, I think it's going to come in line with expectations. I think headline inflation, CPI, is supposed to go up 0.2% to 8.8%, but core inflation is supposed to come down. Now, if either one deviates and goes up more, then I think it's going to cause more volatility. But again, we have a 75 basis point hike coming at the end of the month, so people are starting to price that in too, right? Yeah, I mean, it could get worse. It could definitely get worse, but how much worse? I don't know. There could be a chance that things just stabilize. Really, the second half of this year, and we're in that second half already, that we start to stabilize. That inflation starts tapering and starts coming back down, right? Things on the war front, maybe they don't escalate and calm down a little bit. Oil prices start coming down, supply chain coming down, right? Things like that, or supply chain issues being solved. So there could be moments where we start selling down, the markets start gaining and rallying, and that's when we see some true movement. But we need to have some of that stability come in first. Zach, hopefully that answered that question. Will Charles, I'm not going to show that what you just wrote there. If you had to remove one color from the world forever, what would it be? I don't know what kind of question that is. I don't know. I like all colors. I want to buy 100 Bitcoins at $100, become a millionaire when it goes back to 10,000. Well, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I'm glad to see Kyrie and Durant go. Did they both go yet or not? I mean, it's been talked about, trade rumors. I don't know if they officially left. Burnt amber. Burnt amber could look good on some things. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Overall, man, it's tough. Bitcoin is clinging on what it can, right around 20,000, but there's just so much going on. Oh, I didn't even cover this, so much about inflation, about, the euro now dropping to parity, first time in 20 years. Will their gas get cut off, right? And, I didn't even talk about some of these other stuff, like home buyers are canceling deals at the highest rate since the start of the pandemic, right? So home sales are starting to drop. People are canceling their deals. People are they stop building their houses. Unfortunately, I'm in that situation. I'm building an enormous, house right now, and it's the worst time to be getting started. So I don't know what to do. I want to continue forward, but man, just wondering if this is the right thing. There's just a lot of bad things happening, right? So, but I do know that Bitcoin will come through. It will come through, mostly because the fundamentals are still great. Holders, I know, will not give up. And we're still seeing global adoption, especially with all the bank runs and confiscations and seizures and hyperinflation that we're seeing today. So that is why I'm staying strong. All right, guys, that is it. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early, same time, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. Take care. Bye-bye.